Blood transfusions have been a useful life-saving tool in medicine for decades, but recently there's been renewed interest in the concept of blood transfusions for the purpose of slowing down the aging process.
Yeah, we always like to talk about ways to reduce our wrinkles. In fact, there was a big convention about this in Brazil, and our resident cosmetic dermatologist, Dr. Sabrina Fabi, was there in Brazil. She's now back here in San Diego, joining us around the table once again on our Wednesday editions. All right, talk to me about this idea of blood transfusion. We typically think, right, if you're like in an accident or you need a blood transfusion, but what is the concept here?
Right, so I mean 50 million are performed a year in the United States, almost like 40,000 a day. So this has been able to save many lives. But here what researchers are doing is something that they've been doing since the 1800s, where they've transfused mice, so blood from old mice to blood to new mice, and kind of just making it go back and forth. And what they've seen is that the young mice actually start to show signs of age within 5 weeks of being transfused with the blood of an older mice. And older mice start to actually look more youthful and start to have better heart function and even brain cell function.
When they get the younger blood.
When they get the younger blood.
So you're talking really about the science here. So, I mean, is there a claim to really back up what's going on?
I know. So that's the concept of parabiosis, and Cornell did this experiment back in 1950. In this year, in 2014, well, more recently in 2014, Stanford did another study to figure out if it were just stem cells that were being shifted back and forth. And what they found was no. There's the same amount of stem cells in an old mice as there is in young mice. So it's not the stem cells, it's what's in young blood. So there's little molecules in the environment of a young person that's not in the environment of an old person that stimulates the stem cells in an older mice to just function healthier. And so more recently in 2017, what they did was they took blood from young patients and they transferred it to those that were displaying Alzheimer's, both mild to moderate Alzheimer's. Now this was just done in 9 patients, but what they found was that over about a month of these transfusions, those that had Alzheimer's had cognitive boons. They were just having better ability to remember things, better self-recognition, better recognition of their environment. So there's definitely science more and more supporting that there is something there.
Okay, so that's talking about brain function.
Yep.
Your industry is talking about how people look on the outside, right? So would you be able to get transfused blood from someone younger and say improve your collagen or reduce wrinkles or skin spots, things like that? Is that eventually the hope?
Well, that's the hope, right? So we can take a lot from this. So the thought is that there's this molecule called growth differentiation factor 11. It's this molecule that's in this blood, and it's not just supporting heart muscles or skeletal muscle or joints, but it's also possibly supporting the skin. And so what we're losing as a function of age is collagen. And it's not just at the level of the skin, but at the bone too. So that if you're infusing this molecule, it can stimulate the stem cells in our fat, our skin, and our bone to create more of what is just slowed down from making.
I think a lot of people wondering, when could we see this perhaps come to market, come to fruition?
I know. So many places are doing this off-label, depending on the state, and these transfusions are going for $8,000 to $12,000 a pop, so a lot. But when is it actually going to be approved for this is a different question. And I think that with these studies now showing benefits in Alzheimer's, and they're already starting, hopefully with larger studies, probably in the next 10 years, we can have better protocols. Like how often should you be doing this? How long do the benefits last? And how much do you need to transfuse to get the benefit that you want?
Not to mention the fact that you got to make sure you have safe blood in the first place, right?
Exactly.
You're exchanging bodily fluids. That's like no joke.
So you just can't go to the mall and get this done,
Yeah,
right? Because they're
ultimately
medical procedures that have risks associated with them. So
really
very important.
All right,
well,
Doctor.
we know you're always going to jet setting around the world, doing cool things. So welcome back from Brazil, and thanks for bringing the technology and the science.